Dear students, today we are going to talk about, we're going to have our first lecture on Introduction to Technical Communication. In life, we deal with technical communication in everything that we do, how we interact with our machines, with the people. That is the main concept about technical communication. So this is what we are going to go through in our first lecture, basically explaining why technical communication differs from other forms of communication, identify the various purposes, then adopting to write and oral communication channels, explain why successful technical communicators is important at workplace, and then describe how work team enhances communication at the workplace. Identify the types of workplace teams and their benefits, and many more. Then we shall end with the consider the 10 ways to resolve conflicts within the workstation. So basically, what is technical communication? As we have already said, that it is the exchange of information that helps people to interact with technology and solve complex problems. Things have come, Facebook, WhatsApp, you communicate easily to your clients, and then they get to know what you really selling to them. That is technical communication. But you need to know technical, how do you communicate? You are communicating to your boss. How do you communicate to your boss? How do you communicate to your workmates that you work with? That is the main concept of technical communication. So you interact with technologies in many ways to inform people in a best accurate way. So technical communication continues. We have variety of settings that we use. The typical kinds of technical communication, we have instructions, we have user manual, like you have a machine, you buy a new watch, there is a lot of information kept there. Even if you buy drugs, you'll find that there is a manual to give you the directions. You have reports, we have memo, we have procedures on how to use something. You go to a lab, a computer lab, there are procedures. That is technical communication, technically communicating on what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. So basically, technical communication is a horror one, and then you can say it, you can write to communicate something, but basically it is basing on the way we do our transaction business. So it focuses on the products and services and how we manufacture them, how we market them, how we manage them, how do we deliver them, how we use them. Like safe border, we've been using them. You communicate, you get, and then they take you. Okay. So there are many aspects about technical communications. As we have already seen, we have creative writing, we have composition, we have technical communication. These are forms of types of writing. So amongst them, we have technical communication. The purpose, it is to inform and recommend or persuade. Okay, the audience, these are colleagues that you talk with, your supervisors, your bosses, clients, vendors, and the channels that we use, we are going to see them as we move on. Content, information about products and services. Design accessible information through writing headings, graphics, and many more. The vis-a-vis with other forms of writing. What is the purpose of technical communication? My dear students, it's very important to know about the purpose of technical communication. The main purpose, as we have said, that it is to sell our product, to sell what we do at our workplace. Basically, at the workplace, basically we are talking with customers, writing letters, presentations, reports, marketing, using wiki. We shall see it as we go on. It is one of the important tools that we use in our workstations. Seeking employment, how do you write? How do you technically communicate? Instructing, when you are telling people what to do. Blogging, how you can see now the word has changed to blogging. Texting, and then instant messages. So all this brings us to the same concept. What is technical communication? As we have already said, that primarily it is a work environment for our supervisors and how we communicate professionally. How do you communicate with your clients, your CEOs, then many people, that how do you interact with? These are some of the key examples that you can see how people interact with others, but basically following the technical way of communicating. There are many more examples that you can find how people communicate using videos, using online screens, helping websites. All these are forms of communication. If it is a school, how is it communicating? Using brochures and YouTube videos. What are some of the channels or communication channels that we can use? There are many forms of technique that we use: emails, memos, letters, proposals, flyers, brochures, websites, and many more. Facebook for those ones. Then oral, you may be leading a meeting, conducting interviews, making sales calls, you may be calling people, video conferencing. These are oral types of communication that you can have when you're communicating to your colleagues and whoever you want. These are different forms. Now, when we are communicating, it may be internal audience, your co-workers, or it may be external to your vendors and customers. So how do you communicate to those different audiences? It also matters a lot. These are the different communication that you can use. If it is going to be internal, external, okay, how do you deal with that? What do you going to use? If I'm going to do marketing, I will use brochures to my externals. Internally, if I'm going to have a management meeting, I may communicate verbally, and then I talk to my people. Okay, some of the importance of the communication, okay, most of it is to facilitate the operation of the business. They facilitate how we do work, how we know. If you're a student at school, it will facilitate how you are supposed to operate accordingly. You know what stages are you supposed to go through. It saves a lot of time. It saves money. If you write something instead of going to type, you use your technology, and then things become very smooth. What are some of the importances of teamwork in technical communication? When you have teamwork, things move very well. Companies have found that teamwork enhances productivity. Collaboration ranks highly for employees because of teamwork. This one helps us to accomplish a lot of goals. We brainstorm new ideas, we make decisions, we solve problems, whatever complex may be. Determine the team roles, assign tasks. When we are team, we can achieve all whatever we want to do because you communicate. So there is a lot when we are together, but this term called silon means that you are working alone. A department which is working alone, you don't work with others, it has a lot of problems. And that's why we build teamwork, and it is one of the key for the importance of teamwork. It promotes diversity in opinion, provides checks and balances, okay, empowers individuals and encourages common goals. People are empowered because you work as a team. Somebody will say something, your subordinate will suggest something, and then you find that you will have taken it as a decision. Okay, so there is a variety of importances, diversity of the opinions, as we have already said it. This is just to elaborate more of what the other points mean: empowerment, team building. What are the different types of teams? teams have different types. Okay, number one, we have the COPs. COPs, communities of practice. These teams are composed of individuals with shared skills. For example, you may have a team made up of human resource, accounts, marketing. Like in a university, you have a collection of communities coming together. Okay, then others we have functional teams composed of individuals with different but complement the levels of expertise. For example, a team consists of writers, translators, and then graphics. They succeed one another. They make one another to work, function teams. They make one another to function. Okay. Then we have cross-function teams. Teams are composed of individuals with completely different levels of expertise. For example, we have accounts, we have information technology, we have faculties or facilities. So they benefit from the diversity of opinion. Okay, the types of team processes that we go through, there are mainly 4 processes that we can use. You can use sequential approach. Sequential approach, a team works on a certain idea on each part of the product in order for it to require that particular part. All members collaborate simultaneously. Okay, sequential. When one part is agreed on, they complete and the team moves on to the next one. This is sequential. Then we have a segmented approach. Each team of members, they work on a particular thing in a project and then they bring it together. This approach profits from each team, is unique skills and saves time. Then we have many more. You may prioritize and then say, we are starting with this. We start to address this and then you can complete another thing. Okay, this cannot be completed in a sequential one. It is not easy. So we have different approaches that we go through. Okay, globally and everywhere. Okay, these teams, then we have diverse teams. Okay, sparse teams consist of people located across. Okay, these are all teams and here we can categorize them. So in order to communicate effectively on diverse and disparate teams, choose appropriate collaborative channels. It may be teleconferencing, webinar, emails, to communicate. People are far away from you. You interact with them using different forms of communication. What are some of the challenges that we find to effective teamwork? Knowledge, resources, processes, information, awareness, acknowledgement, trust. These are some of the key human performance analysis that they use in order to take away some of the challenging parts. Okay, once the problem is identified, techniques to solve them include the following. Okay, improve compensation packages. If you find that the teams are not working well, try to improve their packages. Employee recognition programs. You recognize them for what they have done. Okay, try to revise the appraisal. Appraisal means that people, upgrading from one place to another, from one, job for another. Improve employee training, mentor them. Okay, safety implement, then strategic planning changes, improved communication channels. So try to work on this to solve their problems. So we have also conflicts within this type of setting. So these conflicts try to choose the better leader, set guidelines to ensure that these conflicts are taken, discourage taking sides, encourage equal discussion and involvement. Okay, seek consensus. These are all ways to resolve issues within the groups. Okay, so basically this is what we needed to talk about. These are just revision questions that you can ask yourself in your free time and then answer them. So basically today we wanted to talk about what's all about technical communication. What is meant by technical communication? I want to appreciate your time. May God bless you as we meet again for another lecture talking about technical communication.